When I just started at ISI, I was a complete beginner, so I started in the beginning class. I only knew hiragana and katakana, and now I'm at advanced level 2, and I started 1.5 years ago.
When I joined this school, I was about N5 beginner level. Right now, I am about N4 beginner level, and I've been studying here for 5 months. My ability to communicate in Japan has improved a lot. At first, I didn't communicate at all because it was pretty hard. I just sort of said like, please, thank you, like the basic phrases, and now I can actually sort of communicate with people. So that's been great.
When I first started studying, I had never spoken any Japanese before, I'd never written any Japanese before, and I never read any Japanese before. From there, I'm now studying for the N2, which is basically business level Japanese. So I think I've come a long way from that. So hopefully once I pass the N2 with the help from that course, then I can get a job working in Japan. So as a beginner, not really knowing any of the basics was pretty tough. And then especially trying to go out and get used to just local life and going to cafes, how to order and that kind of thing. The school really helped me out with that as well. Just in classes learning basic phrases and that kind of stuff to get used to daily life.
Since I started studying here at ISI, my ability to communicate in Japanese has really skyrocketed. When I started here as a beginner, I was having a hard time speaking Japanese. I thought it was easier to listen, but it was difficult to join the conversation. And right now I know that I can really join in a lot of different topics. And that's really cool, I think. My current language goals are to eventually pass the N1 test. And since I'm going to a vocational school that's all in Japanese, I want to prepare for that.
京都校は常に50カ国以上の学生さんが在籍していて、でいろいろな目的で日本語を勉強しに来ている学生さんが多いです。初級のクラスでは身近な場面で学生が言いたいことを日本語で言ったり、聞きたいことが聞けるとか、何か日常の生活で困ったことがあった時にそれを日本語で解決できるようになることを目指しています。中級のクラスでは自分の興味を持ったテーマについて学生さんが意見を言ったり、理由とともに意見が話せたりっていうところですね。それは進学でも就職でもとても大切な力になってきます。上級のクラスでは、討論やディスカッションなどが日本語でできるようになるっていうところと、あとは相手とか状況に合わせて使う日本語が使い分けられるようになるというところを目指しています。
Main resources that have been helpful for me to study Japanese have been the books. They give you a translated version of the lessons you see in class. Every lesson is there with examples and in your language, so it has been pretty easy for me to sort of use as a guide throughout the course.
Right now in my intermediate class, I'm learning news type grammar. So rather than just your everyday discussions with your friends and that kind of thing, business talk, things you might hear on the news, and the more complicated grammar points that you might not hear in everyday life. Especially the discussions that we have in class. They help me to be comfortable speaking the language and then help me to express what I want to say, how I want to say it.
What I'm learning right now in my advanced class, we're analyzing a lot of texts, and some of the topics are religion, superstition, medical treatments. So the vocab is a bit more niche than the beginner class. What I like the best about living in Kyoto is that it's a really big city, but it has the feeling of a small city. You can use your bike anywhere. And I also really like history, and there's a lot of historical sites, temples and shrines that I really like to visit. I would definitely recommend ISI to other people because the teachers are really good and you get help with anything. If you have any goals apart from just learning Japanese, they will help you with anything.
So my biggest advice to any incoming students would be you'll get out what you put into it. So as much studying as you want to put in, as many questions as you want to ask, you get that all back and more studying at ISI.